welcome to Angling for You. Today you join me at Molly's Pond on Peg 24. I've just hooked into the first shallow fish of the day, and he's absolutely pegging it for the other side of the pond. Got this nice light 11 hollow on, so you can hook him and get him straight out of the peg. Today we're going to be focusing something I don't always do on shallow fishing on most of my videos, and that's fishing it with a little bit of a distance. So what we're going to go through is once we get this fish in, we'll go through the rig. We'll go through how we're going to feed it and how we fish it at distance. It's a little bit different, obviously, using that got this light elastic on. I prefer to use it if you're using for shallow fishing, because it allows you to get them out of the peg. What I'm trying to do is just put a few more pellets out there while we're playing this fish. Just allows us to keep that swim going. He's not very happy about being hooked. He's been going left to right, up and down, and out there. And it's good habit to try and get to if you can prime that swim. You can good chance of keeping those fish there for when you get back, which is obviously what you want to do. It's light elastic. It just makes for obviously a lot better fight, but also makes for less disturbance in your peg when you hook the fish. Clonking or bite, and 9 times out of 10 shallow fish you won't even need to strike. It's a fair old whopper to start the session. That's why he's so angry. It's a lovely fish to start with. Looks like a common. It's a nice fish to start with, that is. And if you can get obviously these kind of fish going on a shallow line, you can put some pretty spectacular weights together. Get that pressure on. I've only got a really short rig on today, but we'll go through that when we hopefully get this one in. It's putting up a grand fight, that is for sure. See, a lot of the fish in this particular pond are sort of not a massive size, so we don't want it too heavy gear, but it does mean when you do hook one which is a little bit bigger, sometimes put a little bit more of a fight up. As you can tell, this one is absolutely fit, and oh, he was in and out of that net. He did not like that net. That's me putting my small net on there. I'll try that again. Not the best of netting skills there, but to be fair, I did think it was done. And it just slid in. Fingers crossed it's done this time. There he goes, just into the net. That's a lovely fish to start off with. If you can catch a few fish like this, we're making it a very easy session. Just get this rig untangled from him. So the problem is he's got a short rig. The easy tucked under those fins. Let's have a look. Hooked beautifully in the corner of the mouth. Fantastic. See if he'll behave now and get him held up for camera. That's a beautiful start to the session. Let's get him back and see if there's some more out there. Right guys, let's have a quick look through the rig. So, as with most of my fishing, simple is definitely the way forward. So, starting at the business end, we have Hollow 11, which is Preston. It's set quite soft, as you saw from that fish. When you do hook really big fish, it tends to take a little bit longer to get in, which is not ideal, but we've got plenty of space, so it's all good. Running down from that, I have mainline. I have got is the ProGen Gen Pro line 018, which is about 6.5 pound. I've got that straight through, and we've got a 0.3 ProGen float on, and we've got that down. So we've got ProGen all the way through the line. We've got that down to a size 14 KKMB with a little bait band on it. And as you can see, we're only fishing probably 8 inches deep or so, which is not deep at all. Now, the aim of the game when you're fishing shallow fishing is there's a few little things that you've got to sort of get. I'm just going to put some bait out. What you've got to keep in mind, one is what I'm doing now is feed. You need to regularly feed, but I'm not feeding absolutely. I'm feeding little and often is what. So there's a lot of bait going in, but it's not going in all at once. It's at a steady pace. So you need a good little catapult. Depending on what distance you're going. I've got a little small Preston Innovations catapult. I've got a little bigger one if you're fishing pellet waggle out of distance with like number 8 with 8 size 8 pellets or something like that. Pellets wise, here it doesn't matter which pellet you use, but we've got some of Lindholm's here. It's just what I had in my bag, and they're 4mm just normal sinking pellets. And that's the same on the band, so we'll have a 4mm on the band as well as a 4mm that you're feeding. We've got a few fish still swirling out there, so fingers crossed there's some more out there. In regards to how we feed it, I will show you when we get out there. So now you'll see me fish shallow, and you'll see me throwing it, and which is what I prefer. If I can throw it 9 times out of 10, I'll be happy with that. I prefer to throw it. But if I can't, like today, I'm just going to get straight out there actually, then I'll put it in with a catapult. Now there's fish straight underneath that bait already, so I'm just going to slap that over. Sometimes you don't need to put bait in straight away. I can see fish under the surface that are swimming around, so I'm just going to put a few little flicks like this and see if we can attract another fish into the swim. So there's no fish come to that straight away. So the thing to do now is be comfortable. So I'll just get my catapult in my hand first. So I've got the catapult. I can rest the pole on my leg. I can fill up the catapult with the pellets. I've got the pole rested on my elbow. Gives me 2 free hands to fire those pellets. And that's the system you've got to get into. It takes a little bit of practice, but I'm no means professional at it. You just have to get sort of into a routine and get into a habit of doing it. And you want to be sort of gauging your swim. If there's a lot of fish there, sometimes you need to pause your feeding and just flick your rig over, and sometimes they'll take that without any feed. But if you get in a few, you're not getting the bites, but you can see fish there, just go in with a little bit of pellets. Just keep alternating it. I had a touch there. and 9 times out of 10 you won't even need to strike. The fish are that competitive for the bait that they will take the pellet without any question. Obviously, like I say, you're fishing up in the water, so unlike when you're on the deck, a lot of the times it acts like a bolt rig against, because you're keeping that line taut on your rig. Because you're keeping that taut, they'll pull against that, and that hooks the fish straight away. This is why I say to you, I'm not saying have stupid elastic unless you know you're going for smaller fish, but try and get away with the smallest elastic that you can get away with. And I find that's important, because for example, that fish, that were a decent sized fish, that, and you know, if there's other fish around, you don't want to be spooking that kind of fish. You want to hook that fish, and then that fish to swim out of the peg nice and quick and nice and easy without splashing about on the surface if it's a tougher elastic. Plus, if you hook smaller fish, you're gonna bump them. But with shallow fishing also, the depth is very important. It's not that they're always going to be shallow. Doesn't always mean fishing in sort of 8 inches of water. Maybe that there's if you've got 3.5 foot of peg and you fish 2 foot, that's shallow, because you're obviously not on the bottom, and it's just about searching that water. Sometimes you get it, you're straight on there and you can see where the fish are, and you can make a good guess as to where you want to fish, and sometimes you have to search that water. Those little pellets just trickling in bit by bit, that's just building their confidence to come and have a go. Got fish around the area. The thing is, if you feed too many pellets, what will happen, just sort of 2 things really that will happen. One, you're going to end up feeding the fish rather than them getting them competing. They're not going to compete as much because they're just going to see bait there all the time, so they'll just leisurely take the pellets. You will catch, but not nearly as many, and the bite, you know, it's just, you just want that competitiveness. The other thing is, if you feed too heavy, you'll push them down in the water, which is always good to carry a bomb set up with you, especially on big waters, because a lot of, and this works over pellet waggler as well, you can end up picking up those fish on the bomb that have gone deeper for the pellets that have gone through. There's still fish there, just building that confidence up. Could do with that little bit of ripple back on the water that was there before. When you're flicking over the bait as well, alternate that. Oh, we're into another fish, there we go. See, that was a little bit different to the other fish. See, that as I saw that float go, he probably would have taken it, but I saw the float go and I just lifted into it with my knee. So it just shows you can strike them as well. You don't always have to. Drop that section at my hand there. But this, like I say, with that light elastic, that fish is straight out the swim, and that's what's most important. Once you're hooking them, you can get them out the swim, and you know, you can get them onto your top kit relatively fast. You've got to be a little bit careful with them when they've got a bit of open space like this, because this one's still going. I don't want to take it back onto the top kit and start putting too much pressure on it, although I've got the line for it, and now it's coming back towards me. I've got the line for it, but I don't necessarily have to pull it, as long as I'm keeping that pressure on it while that fish is going. Now I can put a little bit of bait in, so I just hold it with my elbow again like you would do if you're fishing it. Put that bait back out there. Just make sure you're maintaining the angle on the fish. Just put a couple of those pouches out there, and then we can get them onto the top kit. It's a nice fish. Get him away from those sides. These fish fight really well, and it's just about being patient. That they will come and they will be there, and I find it a little bit more exciting when I'm fishing and I know it's all carp. I do like catching my F1s. I enjoy that sort of F1 fishing, but I really don't. I like getting these bigger carp on lighter gear and getting them competing, because it's such good fun. And again, it's a nice fish. I don't think it's quite as big as the first one we had, but he's certainly putting up a good fight of himself again. Count. Do love this 11 hollow. It's nowhere near as big as the first one, but it's still a nice little fish. Just got to remember, when you're fishing shallow, you've not got a lot of line, so you might think that's another reason why I have the light elastic, because normally these would be you'd have a bit more of a rig on, but it's obviously quite short with it being shallow. Another good account of himself. Once you get those bigger carp competing as well, like I say, you can amass pretty good weight. I think he's much left in him now. He's just in a little bit of a swimmer's circle, as we call it. That's another nice fish, full scale mirror this time. Beautiful fish in the sun. And these are usually these big old fish that are swimming around on top that you always see and you think, oh, they're nice. These are the kind of fish that if you can get them competing, you can have some mega fish, and it's just obviously great fun. But even better in a match, obviously that's another good sized fish. Beautiful, fully scaled mirror, this one. Get him on up for you and we'll get him lifted up. But these are, what I was saying to you, these are the kind of fish that are swimming around at the top of the water. And, you know, these are the ones that you're always trying to flick a bait out to and catch, and, you know, try and lift him up for you. You know, these are the ones that you want to catch. And again, an absolute stunning fish. And, you know, these are big old fish. We're catching them on lightish gear, and, you know, we're catching them on a really easy method. Let's get him back and see if we can snag another one. Just into a little small rud. A few rud in and amongst the carp. It's a really nice roach. It's a beautiful roach, isn't it? Lovely little fish. There's plenty of fish out there. There's another. I'm hoping we can just stick. It's really shallow now. I'm hoping we can just snag one more just before. So I've got another method that I want to show you. So fingers crossed we can snag this one. Snag one, and then I can show you this other method. I can shorten this even shorter now. This is where I would probably turn it over to a jig float, and that's purely because you can just get it super shallow. But we'll go into that on another video. We'll go to Benny's at Lindholm or something and show you how to work the jigger float. But if we can get one more, I'm hopeful. If we get one more, then we can show you this other method. to another fish now. Lovely bite again. It's absolutely took that to the bottom of the ocean. Straight away, no fuss. That soft 11 elastic comes out. It's a bit more difficult to ship back just because I've got a bit of a banking behind me, so I've just got to take that couple of section breaks. Again, it feels like a nice fish. It's going kiting towards the island. But hopefully we can get this one in and I can get this episode wrapped up, and then we'll get on to filming the episode which will follow next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I've got a feeling it'll work. We just have to wait till next week to see what that is. So it feels like a sizable fish. I don't know if it's as big as the others. It's hard to tell when you've got the light elastic on everything, sort of pulls back quite hard. But you notice wherever that fish is going, I'm maintaining that angle. It's really, really important that you don't point it at the fish. That's when you get top kits pulled off your pole. You know, I've seen lots of little stupid things like that happen. That's when elastic can get pulled. You know, you'll take a lot more elastic out and bottom out quicker. Always put an angle on. Use the pole to its advantage. Let him give him a bit more elastic. See, that's the thing when you're fishing. You've got to. He's in open water. I've got prepared to. What I've done there. I don't want to put any more sections on. But what I have done is let go of that elastic that I've pulled out the pole, while they're still pulling like this. It makes no sense to put too much pressure on there. Just keeping that tip of that pole nice and low in the water. And it's the method with putting it in the water is, if you imagine getting one of your friends, trying to pick them up, someone the similar age to you, quite heavy, you put them in water and you can pick them up a lot easier. Well, that's effectively what you're doing with the pole. When you put that tip of the pole in there, it's taking that weight, that pull of the fish, and it'll sort of give you a little extra bit of power, turning power. So that's when you see, like now when he's going out, I'm going to stick the tip of the pole, and you can see there that it's not any more pressure on my hand, but it's actually brought the fish. It stopped him from making that run, and then he's coming. You know, he's coming back, and now he's going back for it again. And now he's gone that way, so you've got to turn your body over. A lot of people hurry for that to get the net. You don't want the net. I even make that mistake. You think they're ready, you've got to be prepared to put that net back down. And just sit and wait. Just, you know, the fish like this, they're fun to catch. There's no point in just dragging them in. You wait all that time to catch one. You don't want to just drag it in, risk pulling it off. And it's another nice fish. And really, he's not gonna come in until he's had that little lung of oxygen. That's when it's gonna slow him down. There's another good stamp fish. But we're just taking his time. We're enjoying the fight. He's going left to right. We're just counteracting that with the angles that we're putting on the pole. When we can tighten, we tighten. When we need to give him a bit more, we give him a bit more. Again, like I was saying on the fish before, they're only on a small, short rig. This ProGen line, I swear to God, that it's just next level. It's next level stuff. It never seems to whimper. Whatever stamp of fish you got on, you just don't. You just have total confidence in it. And I mean, if you've got confidence in other line, that's fair enough. But for the sake of a little bit of money to try it out, it's totally worth it If you go onto their page, they've got a Facebook page, a Facebook group, ProGen Tackle. Just totally worth trying it out. It's such good gear. And when you hook fish like that, that's what you want. You want to get these fish in. You want to have a good float. You want to have a good line that you can rely on. And just like a lot of you will have elastics that you prefer over others. That's the same with line, you know. I've used and still do love Preston's line, for tying my refoil power and stuff like that, to tie up my hook links. And I've tried off this ProGen, and I'll tell you what, I can't see myself going back anytime in a hurry. It's like another mirror, not fully scaled this time. Just fighting well again, as both the other two did. Just going for another run. See, I don't want to, you'll be people here saying, strip it down to your top kit, rag it up. I don't want to be doing that, it's not massively heavy elastic. These are good fish. I want to enjoy catching them. Yeah, in a match I might put a little bit more pressure on them, but I want to get these fish in. I don't want to, to rag their head off. It's nearly there now. Just need to get that head up, and it'll be ours. Like I say, it's another nice mirror. A bit of a shallower fish, the chunkier, shorter fish this time. And he's still in the net, and he's still a good old fish. Certainly on the way to double figures. Just in the corner. I'll get him held up for you. Easy tiger. Let him see if he'll play ball for us. Let's see if I can try one more time. Just give him a couple of seconds to relax. Oh, he's still going to give us a couple of seconds. It feels like he's going to be a jumper. Let's try and hold him over the net. Don't know if we're going to be able to get this one up, guys. He's certainly a lively one. There we go. Another stunning fish on the shallow. Let's get him back in the water. It's nice and warm out here. So, as you see, conclusively, it's an absolute savage method for catching big fish. It's all about competing. I'm getting to compete, getting them to go for that feed, regular feeding, not overfeeding. Just follow those small tips. Search that water. Maybe have a couple of 3 rigs up. Maybe just see if you can pick out where they are. It's easy for me today. They're sat up in the water. You can see them there. That's why the Polaroids are so good. So definitely give an invest in that. But thanks again for watching. Join us on the Facebook group for Angling For You. There's lots of friendly faces on there, people posting all about where they're going and things like that, and always there for advice. And there's also the Angling For You buy and sell as well, if you want to sell any of that gear this summer or get a deal on anything. But also, if you're a picture jockey, go onto the Instagram at angling_for_you and post those pictures on there. We'd love to see what people are catching. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Tight lines.